Welcome to We the Thunder. My name is Robert Shoot. My friends call me Shooter.
Wow, that's a nice shooter. Let me have...
And with me, no, that is not Thomas Schooley. We've got a substitute teacher in the house. And it is Tate from Sticks of Fire. Look, I got to use special sound effect for this one.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but I'm going to kick you repeatedly in the balls.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. We have so much to talk about. I don't think we have enough time to talk about everything today. I'm really excited, though. There's a lot of news, a lot of sad news, a lot of good news, though, and then NHL news just in general, because if you, unless you're living under a rock, then you know what's going on in the NHL right now.
We got a whole different NHL to talk about now.
I know, right?
A lot of changes. All right. So, I mean, we'll keep it pretty simple, though, right? We've got players we lost. We already talked about Darren Radish, but I want to hear from you on that. We've got some players we signed. So let's break down those new bolts. We'll stick to the guys that are going to play with the big squad here. And then we just have, as you alluded to, just a bunch of trades and free agency. Like, the landscape of the NHL has changed in the last week. So we had to get in one more show. Schooley, I bet Schooley finds us the chat somewhere at some point in this show. Schooley's out of town. I told him, listen, after this week, all the players, everyone goes on vacation. Like, this is when it's the real NHL offseason. So we had to kind of talk about some of the stuff that's going on. So thank you for joining me. We will start with the ones that we have lost. Now, we knew this was going to happen. Some of these guys, I think we're okay that we're losing them. But let's start with the heartbreaker. We already talked about it last episode because this is one of the first. This kind of kicked off the offseason moves in the NHL, not just with the Lightning. So let's pull it up. We got the graphic here. Nick Paul traded to...
Oh, I was like, you're not even going to give me Darren Radish first?
Nick Paul.
I was
Darren Radish. I definitely threw you the curveball there. I don't have a Darren Radish graphic. Nick Paul, though, goes to the Toronto Maple Leafs along with Darren Radish in a separate trade. Just to recap for the folks that somehow missed this and are listening to the show, Darren Radish traded days before free agency for a pick, and that was really just because the Lightning were not going to be able to re-sign him. Toronto swoops in, gets the pick to make sure that they can trade, or to make sure they have the rights to sign him first, and they did, to a whopper contract. So first, thoughts on Darren Radish getting that big contract that, I don't know, I think he deserves.
So here's a couple things, and I think more information has now come out since the show that you guys did. So Darren Radish was offered a 6x6 deal in Tampa. He was offered a 6x6. He denied.
Everybody's got different numbers on this, by the way. I had like 5'5". Schooley had 6'7".
So it was Elliot Friedman posted. I
got kids.
From what I remember from Elliot Friedman, it was a 6'6". So it was a equal year to term. But the one thing, and I want to make this a obvious point, and I will get into it. In that 6'6", we do not know if there were no movement clauses, no trade clauses, stuff like that in there. Here's the big thing about Darren Radish's contract that makes this very, very interesting. So he has, for his entire 8-year contract that he signed in Toronto, he has a full no movement clause. And then for the last 2 years, a modified no trade. So basically what he did is he guarantees himself $8.5 million a year, every year. He can't get waived, can't get sent down to the minors because I'm not going to bore everyone with history, but there was a time that a major player got sent down to the minors and his salary got slashed. That happens for teams to save cap on these older guys. And then you hear from Toronto, which, by the way, everyone knows his father just passed away. His mom lives in Toronto. His wife and kids live in Toronto. He's from Toronto. He is a Toronto Maple Leafs fan when he was a kid. It's one of those things. A lot of people say this. I'd rather get something than nothing. We knew it was going to happen. Everyone in the media was saying the same thing. If he doesn't re-sign in Tampa, Toronto's going to give him a blank check and he's going to Toronto. Toronto could give him $11 million and no one would think any different about it because they know like it's the best right shot defenseman on the market. They need a right shot defenseman bad. This is the best right shot defenseman they've had in the 2000s. For the last 26 years, this is the best one. And you could even go back into the 90s and he's still better. It was going to happen. I'd rather get something and just be happy with it. Like Shooter said it just a little bit ago. I'm happy for the guy. I'm great. If you want me to be honest, if we would have signed him to a 6x6, I would have been screaming at JBB, and I will put my hand up because JBB is well known for we wait for lightning to strike twice. Get it? Tampa Bay Lightning. But
It's only struck once with Darren Radish.
And even that, he struck perfect. Like you hit a perfect time, JJ Moser, like you hit everything. Now you got to go be the guy. Is he? Offensively, he's phenomenal. Yes, he'll be the guy on offense. That 5-on-5 and that defensive side, that's something that concerns me when it comes to Darren Radish. And I've talked about it for a long time. That's why he was so good last year, was he played with one of the best defensive defensemen in the league last year in JJ Moser. And everyone knows that in the NHL. 100% hands down, he was the best defensive defenseman in the league last year. And it's not close. Now you don't have that. Now you got to go play some defense, buddy. Are you going to be able to do that still?
Well, and who's he going to be playing with on that? I'm assuming that's top line
So
money. Right?
my assumption, Morgan Riley is the biggest question mark of what they're going to do with Morgan Riley.
They might still
They
trade
have
him.
to figure out what they're allegedly still trading him. If I had to make an assumption, you're looking at either a Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Darren Radish line or a Jake McCabe and Darren Radish line. You're looking somewhere around there. You don't put Tanev with him. Tanev's not fast enough. I just don't see a way that he does what he did again. Maybe 1 or 2 years, but not 6 years. And for me to
move for Toronto, but I think they.
But what do they have to lose? That's so if you go into the Toronto side of this, what do they have to lose out of this?
Well, new GM. So when you're a new GM, you should try to make that splash.
100%. And we'll talk about Toronto later because they did pretty well. But this is a high risk, high reward play. And if you're Toronto fans, you love this. You loved watching Darren Radish last year, knowing that shot is on your power play. You love that. To me, I'm okay with it. It's one of those things that, does it suck? Yeah, it does. But look at the big picture here, and we'll get into why in a little bit, because I have some things that we'll get into later with some other players that we picked up, and we'll get into it then. But if I'm a Lightning fan, I'm not super duper upset. I'm man. It's like, to me, it's like losing Corey Perry. It's one of those ones. It's like you look at, it's like, man,
be cool to have him.
Oh well,
like
it'd be great to have him, but it's just kind of one of those things. It's all right.
Well,
let's move on.
We'll get to that because
we'll get to him.
We
got another trade.
I'd feel a little bit more worried if we didn't have a pretty solid replacement. We'll get to that because I got all the numbers. But and again, 5th round pick. This was just for the rights. I know a lot of people, still a young hockey market here in Tampa, don't understand that this was not a straight up Darren Radish is under contract for the next, so many years, and we just gave up a 5th round pick. We gave up 3 days for them to have a chance to sign him early. Whereas we saw John Carlson's rights traded to Carolina. Same thing with Jake Gensel a couple years ago. And Carolina did not. They were not able to sign. So you take some risk trading whatever asset for the chance to sign before these guys hit the market. And that's what Toronto did. And they got the deal done with our guy. So Radish, I already took off the Screaming Eagle sound effect. It is gone. We retired it until we get a new Screaming Eagle. Now, another guy off to Toronto. It's funny when Toronto is our number one trading partner. It just feels kind of dirty. But Nick Paul gets shipped off to Toronto for Dennis Hildeby, a monster 6'7" goalie, and a 4th round pick and a 3rd round pick. My immediate thoughts on this were that sucks. I like Nick Paul, but how did JBB get potentially 3 players for Nick Paul at this point in his career? That's unbelievable.
So you talk about immediate reaction. I have to turn my camera off for this one because you can hear it from what I'm going to say. We traded Nick Paul? What? We got Hildeby? Whoa! Yeah, I did my little dancey dance. This one, I'm gonna speak very candidly about Nick Paul. He was, for what his salary was, the player he was. He was not anything above average. He wasn't anything below average. He was just Nick Paul. And that was the one thing that I liked about him. And you're telling me that we turned Nick Paul into a solid backup, guys. And I'll get into some Hildeby stuff in a minute. A solid backup plus 2 potential players that, hey, we like our 3rd and 4th round picks. Look at the Lightning history. Hello. Like, this is a move that we made that fans should be very happy about. And I will say this. So now we've kind of gotten there. Dennis Hildeby last year was one of the biggest things of Dennis Hildeby was he came in at the end of Toronto's year last year. Dennis Hildeby last year played 20 games last year, had a 2.86 goals allowed average, and a .914 save percentage. For anyone that doesn't know, the league average last year was .916. On a team that was the bottom third of the NHL, I'm pretty sure there's only like 2 goalies that are above league average, played 20 games last year, and their team missed the playoffs. Like, that is a very good number. And I watch a lot of hockey. I'm very good at watching a lot. I watched a lot of Toronto. I want to know what's going on. Nothing. Choosing games like losing by goalies and defense. They weren't scoring last year. That was the best year. Now you're telling me one of the guys that they relied on down the stretch in their playoff push when they were still in that stretch of we can make it? It was Hildeby in the net, guys. That was their go-to. Stolarz was out. Woll was out. So they said, all right, this Dennis Hildeby guy, we're gonna put him back there. And he went out there and put numbers up. Oh, by the way, he went back down into the AHL last year and finished the Calder Cup with the Toronto Marlies. Oh, by the way, they won the Calder Cup, guys. Like, there's so many things here. Well, yes. And Kimberly put in the chat, I feel like the only downside of the Nick Paul trade is the faceoffs. Let's be real. Faceoffs has been our problem as a team for the last 8 years. Nick Paul wasn't going to be the answer. We need to bring in somebody else for faceoffs. And if that's the thing that people are upset about is faceoffs, then we did darn good in this trade. We did very, very well, and I'm very happy, and I hope everyone else is just as happy as we are about
I
this.
think it's a win-win. I think they're probably happy in Toronto. Another Toronto guy goes home. But I think they'll be pretty happy with him. He's been a 20 goal scorer for us twice, right? Last year, a bit of an off year, 51 games played, 7 goals, only 8 assists. I don't know if this was a move because we wanted to free up some cap space. I mean, we still have that amount where we could have kept him if we don't do anything else. But I don't know if the team was sold on keeping him through the remainder of that contract. I think they wanted to see a little bit more from him defensively. And I don't know. It just kind of felt like they moved on from him at some point during the past season. It seemed like he was the guy, if anyone, that was going to be slated.
I will take a bet, and I wish I could talk to JBB and get a straight answer about this. I would love to know who contacted who for that deal. Because I would not be surprised if you see Toronto saying, hey, we need a depth guy who's cheap. Hey, we have a lot of goalies in our system right now. Hey, Tampa, here's Hildeby. You need a backup goalie. We need a depth guy, a depth center. Here's 2 picks and a depth goalie for you guys, and we'll take Nick Paul. While technically, yes, I feel like Toronto overpaid. It's just like Shooter, you said, I think it's a win-win on both sides. But 100%, we got the better side of this deal. Toronto filled a hole. We're filling a future.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. We know that the Lightning could flip those picks, but it sounds like Hildeby has a really good chance to be the number 2 goalie.
He is the so JBB did announce
Has JBB
announced, yes, that Gabby Shirley posted it, that they are actively looking for a trade spot for JoJo, that they have informed him he will not be returning as the backup next year.
Well, there you go. So let's get used to Dennis Hildeby, these big goalies we got. He's bigger than Bassey, 6'7", 222, Swedish born, 24 years old. And then JoJo's on the block. Since I got a question on, we are live on my Instagram, and I can't see unless I actually go to the Instagram to see these chats. And I have that pinned for future reference. But Chris is asking, and I know Kim's kind of talking about the same thing because you mentioned it. How are we going to fix our face-off situation? Power play hurts losing face-offs, and then on our reentry numerous times this past year. I mean, we are short a true centerman on this team. Do you not agree?
No, I honestly think we have all of our centers. I think our centers next year, in no particular order, in the 4 are going to be Braden Point, Anthony Cirelli, Yanni Gourde, and Dominic James is going to be your 4 next year.
I prefer Yanni on the wing at his age.
I do too, but I also don't think you can break apart that Holmberg, Gergensen, Gourde line, and that's Yanni Gourde's the center. That was the best third line in the league last year. By the numbers, when they were on the ice together, they were the best third line in the league. And also how Dominic James came into the league last year, and yes, he had a freak accident injury. You gotta let him come back. He played so well last year. And if you want me to be honest, if one of the things we're questioning is face-offs, to me, I don't think face-offs in our bottom 6 is the problem. It's never been our bottom 6, it's the top 6. And if that's the problem, and then we're having that conversation, and I don't think a lot of people want to have that conversation.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question. Where was Anthony Cirelli? Where did he end up on face-offs? Let's see if I can find that real quick.
I can get you that one pretty quick on the website.
And I think the wild card that we haven't even brought up yet was Geekie. Geekie is a center. Is
I'm gonna
he
get to him. I have so much to talk about
is
him.
he the guy?
I'll get there
Is he on the
later.
block? All right, here you go. I got it already. Last season 48.2. If you're sitting close to 50, that's
I'll
fine.
take
Nick Paul was
50%.
just above 50 in
I'll take
career.
50%.
Cirelli is a 49.2. So it just seemed like, as that person, I think it was Chris in the chat mentioned, it just seemed like when they really needed it, when you're, in the zone on just got that power play, like those are the ones you want to win, right?
Here's the thing that I want to double down on. So Nick Paul last year was only a 53.86% on faceoffs,
Which is above average, probably, right?
which is yes above average, but for the conversation of him being the reason why we keep him, that's not. Because the next player you need to look at, I think it's Claude Giroux. That would be the guy that I would look at for his numbers. I think it's Claude Giroux. Don't quote me on that. But that's, for instance, just another guy that I would be like, hey, like, I'm pretty sure good is in the 60s to borderline 70s for faceoffs. So,
One of Conn Smythe.
yeah.
He had one
So,
of the best percentages in Stanley Cup Finals history.
yeah. It's so, and I have it up here. So Nick Paul 53.86%, Dominic James 50%, Anthony Cirelli 48.19%, Jake Gensel 47.83%, Braden Point 45.79%, Yanni Gord 44.95%. What's the next big one? Ziegmas Gergensen 44.64%.
Well, and that's the other thing about that third line is all those guys are listed as left wing or wingers and or centers.
100%.
They're utility hockey players, all of them. So, all right, well, we'll see.
I see the comment about there about my hat. I bought this. It was there for like 2 days and then it was immediately gone. This was in the Lightning store for all of 2 days and they sold out immediately and they said, nope, we're not bringing it back. And so people have offered me money for this hat. Nope.
That is a good note. I think we've said that on this show before. If you see something in the arena that you like, a piece of merchandise,
you gotta get it.
Get it, because there's no promise it's going to be there the next game, and they'll order lots of stuff, and they will, once they run out, they run out. So get your Lightning gear when you like. If you see it and you like it, get it. All right, so
those are.
Nick
So
Paul.
those are the big two players. Let's what do we got else from there?
Well, I mean, the rest, which were not as big of a piece of this team.
Yeah, for sure.
Bjorkstrand goes to the Rangers.
Good move.
Corey Perry goes back to LA. I don't know what that team. I mean, that team's going for our strategy of
fire.
getting these veterans, these wily veterans.
They're going to without going too much into them. I think LA is actively trying to get the first overall pick next year.
I don't know. They're getting all these older guys. I mean, they're going to win some games with guys with that much experience, and they're in the West. Good.
Yeah.
It's hard to lose in the West. You don't have as much talent. Mitchell Chaffee was an interesting one, how he got a chance with the Islanders, because he kind of was a guy we were expecting a lot more this season, but like sent him down, and we never really saw much of him after that.
So to be honest with you, he had a pretty terrible season in the AHL. Like when you're an NHL guy and you're kind of stuck down there, I expect you to be multi-point per game, leading the AHL, leading the team in points and stuff like that. I don't even think he was a top 6 player. I think he was third line in the AHL. Don't quote me on that one. He could have been. I know at best he was second line. He was not on the first line because that was Connor Geekie and Jacob Peltier last year, and they were both of our all-stars. Yeah. So from that point,
a 1-year contract, he is eligible for waivers on Long Island. So we'll see what he does, if he does anything. So not going to miss him. And this one, I wish we found a way to keep, but we're also
don't say Declan Carlisle. Don't say Declan Carlisle. Yeah. Don't say Declan Carlisle.
He goes off to Pittsburgh.
I don't want to talk about this.
But
If anybody is from Styx is in here, or if you know me, you know how much losing Declan Carlisle hurts me. I love this kid. I think he won't necessarily be the guy on any sort of team, but he is very good. I very much like him.
yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't find a way to keep him. But again, like right now, they're sitting with 8 NHL ready defensemen, and adding Carlisle just means well, somebody's got to go down to Syracuse. So the other one that you wanted me to mention was Brandon Halverson, the goalie, goes
Dallas.
from Syracuse to Dallas on a minor league deal. So that is also why you saw the Lightning sign a couple different goalies in addition to bringing on Hildeby. Those guys are all going to play in Syracuse. Remember, when you see the Lightning sign someone and it's a 2-way contract, that means they have the ability to go up and down. They have 2 different contracts. And most likely, if you haven't heard of them, they will be in Syracuse. And there was a lot of changes in Syracuse. I think Lisa here is asking about that. I am not up to date on the crunch, but we will definitely do some
crunches. So I think the goal for the crunch every year right now, until we figure out what's going on with Hugh Tannen, or whatever his name is, Benjamin Hugh Tannen, Sam O'Reilly, and what's the one that we just traded for the third rounder, Jack Pridlam. He's going to college, so we definitely won't see him this year. But until they get at least into the AHL level, expect them to. The best they're going to do is make the playoffs. We have the worst minor league in the league right now. Like, we have the worst prospect pool. We have, like, if it has to do outside of the NHL,
you got some guys in. You got
but as a pool in general, looking at, for instance, like San Jose, Anaheim, Montreal, like all of these other teams that don't trade away their picks like we do. Like, if you actually look at it, yes, our peaks might be higher than some other teams of actual star talent players. The rest of the pool of where, like, hey, like, this could be your guy, your depth guy, da-da-da-da-da, we ain't got that, Chief. We don't, no. So I would say crunch, you're looking at the guys that I kind of brought up there quickly. But other than that, there's Dylan Duke might scratch a trade. Dylan Duke gives me Carter Verhaeghe vibes. I have watched him. Same thing with Jacob Peltier. I would love to get him in the system this year. I'd love to get him in the NHL.
He's next up to get some more shots. I think everyone's going to want Sam O'Reilly, but what makes you think that this team's going to rush Sam O'Reilly?
Look at what we did with Connor Geekie. Just saying.
Yeah. So I think Peltier, MVP last year, he's next in line. They got to see what they got in this kid. And if he can come up and have some chemistry with Dominic James, I know they really haven't played that much together in the past because James just came over late last season.
I could see it would be a third line. I will say they would move the Yanni Gourde line down to the fourth line, but I could see a kid line of Peltier, Dominic James, Connor Geekie being a third line. And that would be fun to watch.
Yeah. So what about so you're pretty bullish on Geekie's going to get a lot of playing time next season?
I am pretty bullish on this is Geekie's before the trade deadline. Prove it. You've got 25 games. Figure it out quickly. Because if he doesn't figure it out before the deadline, he ain't coming back.
Yeah, I mean, he's had so many chances, especially that first season. Like, he was just finding himself with the puck, like where you want to be in scoring position, but it just wasn't going in. I mean, if they all went in, if he stayed up that rookie season, he could have hit 20 goals easily. But like he couldn't buy a goal. It took him forever to get that first goal. I was there when he scored that first one, and I was happy for him. But yeah, on this roster, you gotta produce, especially with the pressure that these guys are gonna have in the playoffs. And that was the other thing that I wanted to mention, not to back up what we already talked about, but Nick Paul in this year's playoffs was just invisible. Did nothing, 0 points. So they got to get some guys that are going to produce. By the way, I went to Dev Camp on Friday, and it was awesome. I was like going up there, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna just kind of like put on the hoodie, stay to myself, get there and see like 3 people as soon as I walk in that I know. So I guess those days of me hiding from everyone are over. And I'm happy to talk to anyone. So the reason why I know Kim's in the chat, she said she was there. I don't know how you missed me, Kim. But shout out to Connor. Connor's another guy who he's on X. I forget what his name is. But he follows the Crunch pretty closely. So he might be someone that we have just come on and give us an update on what the heck's going on with the Crunch, because there's some major turnover there. Who else was there? Bella Bolts was there. Back Checking the Bolts is like a new podcast, so I talked to him for a little bit. Bolts Breakdown was there. Boomer. My photographer was there taking pictures. My photographer, she's done some stuff with our team, like my hockey team. That's why I have cool pictures of me playing hockey. That's Sam, photography by Sam. So actually, she sent me some awesome pictures. We're going to do a new intro for the new season. So she sent me awesome game day pictures. And actually, if people still want to send me stuff, send me your pictures from last season. It's going to be a collage of all of them. So I'm excited.
I gotta find my pictures.
Send me some stuff. I have some pictures from some of the Sticks folks. But that's going to be my little summer project here once we kind of wind down after this episode. So anyway, Dev Camp was really cool. Seeing the young guys, all the guys that we just drafted. I think it was our 3rd round pick that they signed on the spot. They signed them after the scrimmage. And then our first pick, not first round, but our first pick, who we traded up to get, is a young Russian, Oleg. I don't even remember his last name. We don't even really need to worry about it right now, but models his game after Nikita Kucherov. Huge Kuch fan. Very happy to be drafted here. And kid's got some talent.
I will say this: we did not need to trade up to go get him. Wasn't even projected to go into the 3rd round, which I thought was kind of comical.
Well, remember with Russians, maybe more than any other nationality, like they have an option to be pro hockey players in Russia. Mm-hmm. So when you draft those guys, you risk we don't even know if this guy's going to come to North America and play hockey, but it sounds like this guy's really into it. I don't know where. I don't think he signed
especially being an organization for your idol. I think he would be in on it.
I don't think he signed an entry level contract yet, but during the kind of championship scrimmage that they had at the end, his team was down. I think it was 3 or 4 goals, and him alone scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes. Like he's got that dog in him. So I'm excited to see what happens with him, or if they let him go do Russia for another season, they sign him to entry-level contract and get him over here in Syracuse. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on him because he seems like he's got some talent. But you never know with these guys that have just got drafted. That's why you're watching these guys. They look good. They look fast. But they got a long way to go to play on the main roster of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Anyway, should we talk about the new toys?
Should we talk about some new guys?
Yeah, let's tee it up. We will start with maybe the one that is the least exciting to people.
Which one is this going to be?
Jeffrey.
Give me this one. I am so ready for this one. I was going to tell you to save this one.
You tell me, because this is my least favorite pick. Anaheim Ducks also played for the Boston Bruins. Kind of at this point, a journeyman, but he's a guy that is a tough guy, not afraid to drop the gloves. And is that why I'm going to love this guy? Where does he fit on this team?
So, I want to bring up a fun stat. Now, mind you, this is my own research. I'm doing this with not NHL stats. I'm doing this with my own stats that I can find and using some websites that, mind you, a lot of media uses. But moving from there. Connor McDavid, I know I'm going out there, in the playoffs against Anaheim, which is where Jeffrey played. When Jeffrey Veal and Connor McDavid were on the ice, because they matched up a majority of the time against each other. Connor McDavid, 0 goals, 1 assist. I'm not saying
the defensive shutdown machine is what you're saying.
correlation here, but that was the one thing that everyone talked about last year in the playoffs against Anaheim was how Anaheim shut down that line. And when that line was not on the ice, that's when Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl were going off. And now all of a sudden we brought in one of those guys, another 5-on-5 guy and a dude that actually likes to throw hands. That's what he talked about in his press conference coming to the team, was how he's not afraid to throw hands. I'm okay with this. We need somebody that's going to go up against the Florida Gooners down in Sunset, Miami. I know why people, when they look at, like, let's be real, this way, right? Look at the stats over here, and it's 99 games, 6 goals, 9 assists, 15 points. That doesn't look good.
This is career. No, I love the last one. 99 games played, 232 penalty minutes in this career. Guy goes to the box.
And I don't look at that. When I look at a bottom 6 guy, I don't look for goals. I look for holes. I look for holes in our team.
With Jeffrey.
And that's and I love this. I love this pickup because it is going to help this team significantly.
35 games played. Oh, wait, I have the wrong numbers there.
I was about to say, that's definitely not him.
99. But so this guy is the toughness on the team, right? Like, we can't have Hagel fighting the down south Gooners. That's the move here. You got to bring in a guy. We don't have Curtis Douglas, the Giant. Congrats to him. He got his contract with the Kraken, I think.
Vancouver.
And then, so this is because who else is going to fight on this team?
Sabrin.
Oh yeah, we still have Sabrin. I forgot about that. All right, so we do got 2 guys.
You're gonna see a line at one point by the end of the year. You're gonna see a line of Zygmunt Girgensson, Scott Sabrin, and Jeffrey Veal.
I don't know. I'd rather see some of these young scorers scoring goals.
Oh, I'm saying just against Florida. Give me that. They're gonna only play like 3 minutes in the entire game, but they're gonna mess stuff up when they do go on the ice together.
All right, so for you, this is a or a B signing?
This is, to me, I'm going to put this... I'm actually going to go a little bit more into that. I'm going to lean into it a little bit. I'm going to say it's actually a B+.
Okay.
But has the chance, if he continues what I read on and what I've kind of looked up, this could be a very unsung hero on this team. I will go as far as saying that he could be a difference maker.
So most of his damage, as far as the stats that he's put up in the NHL, were last season. So last season, 35 games played, 3 goals, 7 assists, 10 points. If you compare that to Corey Perry in just his time with the Lightning, 22 games played, 6 goals, 3 assists, 9 points. In less games, but that is how I looked at some of these moves is, all right, he's coming in for him. This is kind of like, we're losing Perry, we're getting this guy. For me, it's a C. I don't like the approach that the Lightning have taken of, well, we just got to beat everyone up. You know how I like beating people up on the scoreboard, scoring more goals than them. So I don't love it, but of course, you know, I like an enforcer. I like a fighter, so I can get behind the guy.
I'm all right with it.
2.5 a year. And
we'll be your fourth line in about 2 years with the salary cap going up to 2.5. That's not a, everyone looks at that number like it's, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. Guys, the salary cap is going up by like another $30 million again. It's these 2.3 and 2.5 numbers are gonna look normal for fourth line guys here in the next couple of years.
So you start seeing some 18 million. Oh wait, we'll get to that.
So I need time for that one.
All right, so that is that. Let's go on to the next one here from the Chicago Blackhawks. Another Russian. He was an undrafted Russian player, Ilya Mikheyev. He was signed for 3.85. I think that's a steal for this guy. 6'2", 192 pounds, 31 years old. Last season, let's see if I have his last season stats up.
18 goals, 18 assists in 77 games.
18. Yeah, that not bad. I do have that. 18, 36 was a +2. On this team, on the Tampa Bay Lightning, remember, he played for the Chicago Blackhawks. They weren't very good at scoring goals, except for that one fella, number 98. On the Lightning, how does this guy not score 20 goals, at least?
And you want to know my sneaking suspicion?
He's going to play
he's
in
not
first
even
line?
He's not even going to touch the top 6.
I don't know if he will, because the other thing about this guy that people don't realize is he's a phenomenal penalty killer.
He was the second best penalty killer by the numbers in the league.
Was he number 2? Yeah, I mean this is a special teams pickup. I guess you got to replace minutes, but I think he's got more. Upside for sure. To me, this is Bjorkstrand's replacement.
100%. This is an upgrade from Bjorkstrand.
Yeah, I think it's an upgrade. Now he's not a right-handed shot. He's a lefty, but you know, right-handed shots are at a premium in the NHL. So here's the numbers. Regular season, you see it on the screen for Mikheyev. For Bjorkstrand, 80 games played, 12 goals, 20 assists, 32 points. We got a guy that played with a much worse team for less of a contract. That this guy really might surprise some people this season.
Yeah, he's definitely an interesting one for me that I'm very excited about. I think you're gonna see the John Cooper special. You're gonna see kind of movement throughout the team for a little bit. You will see Mikheyev get some top 6 minutes with either Jake Gensel and Braden Point or Brandon Hagel and Anthony Cirelli. I think you see him get some second line minutes, and I also think you see him get some third and fourth line minutes. I think you're going to see a lot of movement for this team to kind of figure out their identity again, and that's something that's pretty exciting to me.
All right, so give this one a grade.
A-.
Yeah, I'll give it a B+. We'll see how it pans out. For 3.85, yeah, this could be the steal of the offseason. Now, let's go to the replacement for...
I was about to say, there's a comment in there you need to pull up, and I am going to...
This one?
Yes.
I did star that one. You know I'm right. I swear, just likes to to mess
Great
with us
debate.
sometimes. How can you say John Carlson in his almost 1,200 games played, almost 200 goals, is not going to do anything for the Lightning? He's going to be our top right-handed defenseman. The way that I look at this is, okay, you know, he's replacing Radish, but he's done what Radish has did for years. He's been consistent. So why would you think he's not going to be consistent on a better team this year? The other thing that I like to think about with Carlson is you bring in a guy like John Carlson, and this is not a one-to-one comparison, but John Carlson is a Ryan McDonagh-like player, consistent defensive-man. Now, they're not the same player. I think they're very different players. John Carlson is a puck-moving offensive defensive-man. Ryan McDonagh is a stay-home defensive man. If you look at these guys, it's they have similar careers. These are veteran players about the same age. I think they are both like 36 or 37. So they're in the twilight of their career. They got one thing left to do, win another cup. But, I mean, 785 career points. McDonagh's only got 441. Again, defensive defenseman, offensive defenseman, but like consistency, guys that know how to do it, guys that know how to win. To me, this was the home run that honestly, that JBB kind of had to have after the swing and the miss with Werenski. Obviously, everybody knows the Lightning were in on Werenski, who basically at the end of the day said it's Lightning or no one else. But my suspicion was JBB made the offers to try to steal him away, and at the end of the day, I don't think they were giving up enough for what Columbus wanted. Then Columbus, you know, they have a heart-to-heart, and Werenski's staying. Doesn't mean Werenski might not end up as a Bolt someday, but when you make that swing and you miss, you got to go back and replace, you know, Radish. You got to get that defenseman. If he's a right-handed shot, which he is, great. And, oh, by the way, Carlson was supposed to make over $10 million a year. Well, welcome to Florida. 8.5 for 2 years. You're not straddled with a long contract. You get a guy who knows how to play, knows how to win, and fits a need. So I'm excited about John Carlson. Easy A for me.
So I am... I'm reading some comments in here, and I'm trying to find a website real quickly. If it's in here somewhere, and I wanna talk about John Carlson's career, because that is a very big thing that I want to talk about.
Well,
so
for Chris's comment here, do you think Carlson runs point on the first power play team? Absolutely. I think he's QB.
I would have to see I will not say yes right now, because I do think Victor Hedman gets the benefit of the doubt. I think he does get at least a shot in training camp / preseason / the first 10 games of the year. If it doesn't work, it is a very quick change to John Carlson. Man, this dude is trying to rage bait the hell out of me right now, and I am not trying to engage with it.
You know I'm right.
I am reading, and I am trying my best. John Carlson is definitely the Darren Radish I'm not even going to say upgrade. He is the Darren Radish replacement. So one of the things that I watched with Darren Radish last season, and there's a website that I'm trying to find that gives me a lot of the offensive and defensive WAR splits, and I wish I could go and find it in here. I just can't, which kind of sucks because it's a really great website. Offensively last year, yes, Darren Radish had a phenomenal season. 5-on-5 though, Darren Radish points wise and without Kucherov on the ice was average at best.
I agree.
I'm
Defensively,
not saying again, Darren Radish deserves everything. But we're getting, I'm just going to say it for what it is, a Darren Radish identical, because you do have some truths. John Carlson is not the shutdown defenseman of JJ Moser. He's not. If you look at his time in Washington, he's always been with a shutdown guy. You look at his time in Anaheim, he played with Jacob Trouba. Like, he's not a defensive guy. The thing that makes John Carlson make it worth it for us, instead of it being a 8 by 8.5, it is a 2 by 8.5 for borderline the same player. That's the biggest thing. And you're taking a guy who is proven, has done it year after year after year after year after year. He has proven to be worth $8.5 million. And I don't have it up right now because I'm trying to search 9,000 things right now.
yeah.
John Carlson is 6 years older than Darren Radish. When you put in a perspective of the careers of both Darren Radish and John Carlson, you would not say 6 years. That's another thing that a lot of people is like, do we really want to give someone who's struck lightning twice, struck lightning once, had a great year with a, mind you, a great defensive defenseman,
But you'll have here.
struck it, got his bag at 8 years. I cannot fathom making that call right now. To me, I'm signing Darren Radish to a 2x6. I can't give him that money. And by that point, I'm not signing a 32-year-old defenseman to a long-term deal. I'm not paying Darren Radish at 38 years old $8.5 million. Because who knows at 38 years old if he's going to be great.
I mean, that contract might look awful at the end of next season. I don't think it will. I think Radish figured something out, but 8 years was just too much. And to be able to get Carlson for 2 years, under 10 million, yeah, it adds age to the defense. But guess what? We're all in. Like we got.
The thing was, it was all.
This out.
I'm sorry but for a number one defenseman that you're going to give a multi-year deal to, you're not giving it to a 30-year-old either. You're just not with where the league is at. You're gonna go somewhere else and you're gonna go find something else. And I'm gonna go back up about 7 comments. Werenski was in on the Lightning or the Leafs. I was praying that we got Werenski. I wanted him bad. I was giving up the world for Zach Werenski. My cousin, he's getting into hockey. Lightning fan 1, his number 2 team, he lives in Columbus. He's a Blue Jackets guy. So I got to watch a lot of Columbus games last year. He is good. He is.
We also saw him in the Olympics for USA.
Exactly. I don't see, that's all-star game basically, so it's tough for me to make that one. But watching him on Columbus last year, he's good. He's damn good at hockey. And there's a reason why he's going to make a crap load of money, and I'm super happy for him. But it just, to me, I can't fathom a 38-year-old Darren Radish making all of this money. It just, to me, I would go with the John Carlson at 36 years old for 2 years. And it's not against anybody. It's just, I'm not doing that. It's just, you got to think about the team. I'm going to bring up a sore topic for everybody. You didn't see the Lightning give Steven Stamkos term and money. We're not far off from this exact thing. We're not far off.
Yeah.
Just want to kind of try to put this into perspective, because it's just where it is. I'm excited for Carlson. I'm happy for Radish too. We can be both. That's what people are trying to do. They're trying to pin one against the other. And and the other thing is you're always gonna look good defensively when you're with the best defensive defenseman in the league last year.
Yeah.
I will bring a example up for a lot of people. I was very anti Sergachev. I was extremely anti Sergachev. What was the one solid year that you saw Sergachev play? I've talked about it on this show. I've already talked about this line once. It was on one of our back-to-back playoff years. We brought him in from a team, a very old, very defensive defenseman. Played with our team for 1 year.
And played with Sergachev?
Played with Sergachev on a line. If somebody knows in the comments, throw it in the comments real quickly if you know.
Was he a Columbus Blue Jacket as well?
That is a great question. I think he was.
I think that's who we traded. Savard, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sergachev, same thing. Offensive defenseman. You got to pair him up with a solid defensive defenseman. I think that's a good thing about Carlson is, hey, take your pick. You want to play with Ryan McDonough? Sorry, Chernak. You're moving back to the third line. You want to play with JJ Mosier? Take your pick. Well, I mean, that's why Carlson and Werenski both wanted to come to Tampa. Clearly, I think Carlson could have got more money for sure.
I'll open this up in the comment section. Put your guesses of what your this year Lightning 6 defensemen look like. What are your pairings? I'll give mine because it's starting to become a conversation. And it's a great conversation because it can go a lot of different directions this year. So my 6 is going to be John Carlson, JJ Moser is your top line. This is where mine kind of goes off the rails. Victor Hedman gets paired with Ryan McDonough.
Oh, I don't like that.
And that's where, but this is why I do this. Eric Chernak gets paired with Distill. You have defensive with offensive. That's where, and like I said,
who's the odd man out? Crozier and who else are we missing? Lilleberg. I don't think you can give Lilleberg less ice time the way that he is kind of on the right path.
And like I said, there's no wrong answers here. That's the great thing about this year when it comes to defense. We have movement. We've got guys that can come in and play and guys that can hit the bench. Victor Hedman is going to be the biggest question mark this year. Which Victor Hedman do we get?
Yeah.
And that's why you see us having 8 defensemen on the roster right now. Do we see Hedman come back and take all this time off and become, I'll even say 50% of what he was? If you give me 50, 60%, then yeah, great. But we don't know. And that's what makes this great. And I'm really excited about it because it allows us.
I would have felt better about Victor Hedman if I saw him at Dev Camp out there with Cooch, who's always practicing. Like, please, Cooch, like take a week off.
Yeah, right.
And he's been joined by Point now. So, and I don't know if you heard this one, but there was a really tall guy wearing the number 26 on his helmet. And I'm just like, God, that guy looks familiar. Who is that?
Some random hockey player.
Andre Schuster. Skating with the boys. Yeah, that was funny seeing him. But I would have liked to see Victor Hedman out there practicing, especially with the season he had. But
ICC champ said this is a make or break year for Hetty, in my opinion. 100%. To me, it's he either shows up this year or we're looking at Hedman saying, hey, either retire or we're going to look at trading you. And this is coming from the guy that's got a Victor Hedman signed jersey sitting behind him on his camera. I love Hedman. But yes, it's coming down to that point where we did it with Stamkos, we're doing it with other players. either show up or a business is business decision.
Well, and the problem with Hedman, and it's not just him, but like just those big defensemen, tall, big, like they don't have the longevity. Look at Chara his last couple years. Like that guy was so slow. So Hedman's got to figure out how to get it back into gear. And obviously there's a lot more going on there, but yeah, you guys are all right. It's make or break. And the problem for the Lightning is like, all right, well, he comes out and has a horrible first month or two of the season. Who's going to trade for him? And his $8.5 million a year for the next 5 or 6 years still?
We would retain some.
Yeah. Well, best case scenario is the comeback story. Victor Hedman comes back and is the man like he used to be. And you know, I'll put Pointer in the same boat. Pointer didn't have a great season either. Obviously a little bit less going on with his story, but that's it's a tough decision, or it's a tough spot for the Bolts because he's the captain, right? Like you got to see what he's got, and they might not like what the results are, but I think we're all cheering for him.
For sure, 100%. Is it time to go around the NHL? 'Cause that was the last one, right?
Let's do it.
Can we start with it? Can you give it
18 million?
Can we start with this?
I read that, I think it was Friday, and I was like, is this fake?
So let me tell everybody who doesn't know what we're talking about when it comes to $18 million. I'm going to try to do the whole explanation, rules, kind of everything. It's a lot, and I'm going to try to shorten it as much as I can because it is a lot. Leo Carlsson, star player for the Anaheim Ducks. Young, great, amazing player. Deserves everything that he's getting right now. He is in a contract year right now. Coming into this season, he is not able to play. When you are a restricted free agent, you have the opportunity to not sign. I don't even think he's arbitration eligible because he didn't do arbitration, to at July 1st receive offer sheets from other teams. Now, what offer sheets mean? It's not like, hey, negotiations and stuff like that. It's, hey, this is what we're going to pay you. That gives the team that they own 7 days to respond. Well, they were trying to do a contract, and Anaheim and Leo Carlsson did not come up to a deal. So it went into July 1st, and Anaheim came out to the media and said, whatever any team wants to offer Leo Carlsson, we're going to match it. We're not even going to think twice. Blank check. We're going to offer it to him. Philadelphia called their bluff and said, all right, 5 years, $18 million a year. You want to mix that? You want to follow that up? Because Philadelphia's got cap. They're terrible, but they need a star. That's something that they can build their franchise around. So Philadelphia said, hey, we'll give you 4 first-round picks, and we'll take 5 years by $18 million for them. And now Anaheim has 7 days to match that offer. Anaheim doesn't want to pay $18 million for him. I don't care how good he is. There's nobody in the league that's going to pay him $18 million other than Philadelphia, apparently. But that's what makes this situation so freaking comical to me, because Anaheim was like, go ahead, call our bluff. We're going to give him whatever. And Philadelphia said, I bet, and offered him a crap load of money. And now everyone's looking like, oh, that's
and if they sign him, they also have to give up a boatload of picks.
So if Philadelphia signs him, they give Anaheim their next 4 years of first round picks.
Insane. And yeah, like you said, nothing against him. He's a good young player, but
he deserves it.
He's going to be the highest paid player in the NHL.
And he doesn't deserve that.
It's crazy. What a move by Philly. Talk about like feeling like you have to make a move to make a move. That was a move to make.
That's a shot.
Hold on.
And I love it.
I got so distracted because I went back to Instagram and you can kind of see who joins. Um, Alex Killorn was tuning in for a little bit.
Oh, I love that.
So-
Hopefully, he wasn't talking about. He wasn't here during the Anaheim bit.
Yeah, we're talking about a bunch of ducks. No, I don't think he's. I think we have 0 right now watching on Instagram. But yeah, he popped in for a little bit. He follows old Shooty.
Probably be on the third line deep pairing. I think he makes the biggest steps. So, sorry, I'm just catching up on comments real quickly. Chris just talked about Destu probably being on the third line deep pairing. I think he makes the biggest steps as a solid NHL D-man this year. Might end up second line if Hetty struggles. Not to kind of rehash, that's exactly kind of where we're at right now, I think, with him and kind of the rest of the kind of defense there.
I'm a little bit more cautious with the Stu because again, he's definitely an offensive defenseman. To me, leaves a little bit to be desired defensively. Now, also has only played 70 or 80 maybe NHL games. So he's
less than that.
It takes time, right? So I'm not ready to write him off
right.
yet. But to me, Lilleberg's at the top of that list of next up. And then I know this team loves Max Crozier too, who's in the mix. So
good.
I don't know. It's a good problem to have. I'm more worried about like, all right, behind those 8 in the system on defense, there ain't much going on.
Yeah. Kind of moving on from there. So I'm gonna try to.
What other moves we got?
I am gonna go next to Jacob Trouba, and that's gonna go from Jacob Trouba into Darnell Nurse, and it's just gonna kind of monsoon from there. Jacob Trouba was handed a 4-year contract, $8.25 million a year to the San Jose Sharks. Now, what in the world are the San Jose Sharks doing with their defense?
Building a dynasty around Celebrini.
So the first thing is Darnell Nurse and Jacob Trouba now both play for the San Jose Sharks. Darnell Nurse makes $9.25 million. Jacob Trouba makes $8.25 million. That is a total of $17.5 million. Cale Makar and Devon Taves make less than that combined. What?
It's free agency, man. You got to overpay.
So, and the one big thing, why I think they went for it, they had to hit the cap floor. So that's why I think they just threw a lot of money.
They didn't want to sign Celebrini to an $18 million contract.
Apparently, they didn't want to give it to Celebrini. Well, so Celebrini is still on his ELC.
That extending him though.
Oh,
that's the point here.
In the same boat. Ooh, we never talked about that. In the same boat of Kucherov, which, by the way, I'm going to be very short and very brief about it. I hope like $12 million is our max for Kuch.
I think they're going to have.
Age thing keeps coming back. I just can't get behind giving past prime players prime money. That's just my opinion.
Yep. Well, the two comparable players, McDavid and McKinnon, are both at 12.5. And I feel like we owe Cooch because he's taken bridge deals. He's taken a little bit less than maybe he's worth. So I think they'll try to give him more than what McDavid's making. I think 13.5. And I'm actually surprised that it hasn't happened yet. I'm a little worried that it hasn't happened yet.
No, I knew it wasn't going to be right away. That part to me, it's we knew that it was going to be kind of down the line. JBB is always a guy. If I want to go through free agency first, I want to know what I have and then make that call from there. But yeah, so kind of going back into the league here. A guy that was actually linked to Tampa Bay this year, Blake Coleman, traded to the Minnesota Wild it was Blake Coleman, Ali Mata, to Minnesota for Jacob Middleton, a 2029 second, a 2027 third, and a 2028 fourth. So this was one that I kind of watched this happen, and Minnesota just keeps loading up on more and more depth. They're going to be one of the only good 3 teams in the West next year.
Yeah.
There's not much in the West, guys.
It's crazy. All these big signings and trades are all in the East. It's ridiculous.
It's all in the East, and I don't want to deal with it. What else from there? I don't want to talk about this one. I'm even going to take my hat off for this. Brady to Chuck. Why? I just Ottawa. Why? Or I mean, even Florida for that sense. This trade makes little to none sense. Does not make any sense whatsoever.
My whole thing about that trade was, what a massive overpay for Brady Tkachuk. Like,
Yeah.
He's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I'd like him on the Bolts, to be honest with you. But there's no way I'm giving up that much for him. And I get why the Florida Panthers would do it. You're bringing the brothers together. I'm sure that's going to be a magical locker room until it's not. But gosh, what a crazy trade that was.
So to preface this, Brady Tkachuk was traded to the Florida Panthers for a 2026 first round pick. Actually, correction, 2 2026 first round pick. That other pick being Tampa's. LOL. And then a 2029 first as well, and a 2027 second. Yeah, it just. Let me preface this. I'm happy for the Tkachuk family. They're gonna at minimum these next 2 seasons, they're gonna be living on a high. To be able to put those 2 brothers together that we've already watched in the Olympics. That's going to be electric to watch. Trying to take my fandom out of it and just be an NHL guy for a second, that's going to be pretty cool. If you're the Florida Panthers, though, and you're an actual fan, all 4 of you guys, you're looking at these draft picks and you're like, we traded the 23rd best left winger in the league for 3 first-rounders and a second? What? He doesn't even hit the top 20.
That's like the haul you get for like a top 10.
Or like a guy like Nikita Kucherov. I'll say it for what it is. What?
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, Ottawa then used that pick. Ottawa then used that pick to then trade it to San Jose, if I remember correctly.
I don't get this comment. You know I'm right. You're saying the Lightning overpaid for.
It's anybody that talks about the Lightning overpays is going to be Tanner Jeannot.
Well, Tanner Jeannot was a big guy, and yeah, they did overpay. I mean, those
every team is going to have their overpay. We're not saying that. We're clean and we're saints at this. Every GM has their overpay. We're just talking about the next one in the league. It's an overpay. We can all agree it's an overpay. We're not saying it is the overpay of the century. We're just saying it's an overpay. By the way, that same pick was traded for William Eklund. Was traded out to San Jose for William Eklund, which could be really good for Ottawa. So,
you're saying for Bjorkstrand. You got Gord too.
Yeah, well, so technically they split up those deals, which is why it looks worse than what it is. But yeah, it was both deals all packaged into one. Which, again, I was excited. I thought if again, anybody, if you can always look at a trade afterward, after the player's gone, and say, oh, it was an overpay. Back then, I thought it was a solid deal. When the trade was made, we were looking for a guy. What it is.
Yeah.
We needed a guy that we thought was going to be a power play merchant. He was their power play merchant in Seattle. He was on their power play. Didn't work out.
I wish they overpaid for somebody at the trade deadline. this past season. Some would say they did for Corey Perry, but
Yeah.
I would have liked to someone with a little bit more impact.
So, and to kind of stay on Florida next year, I'm gonna go on the not the short bus. God, that's no, not we're not gonna stay that. I'm gonna go on the minority here. I think Florida got worse this year. I think Florida got so big and so physical that a lot of the depth guys that they had, Evan Rodriguez, Eetu Listerainen, I'm trying to pull up the trades.
The guy that they traded to, that went to the Kraken.
That's the guy I'm trying to remember right now. He's the one that I can't remember. Mackie Samoskevich. Yeah, Mackie Samoskevich.
He had a great season.
Hicks. And AJ Greer is gone. Evan Rodriguez, Jesper Bovequist. Like, I'm looking at all these names that they're trading, and then like the biggest one and most recent comment says it. Their goalie tandem this year is Jacob Markstrom and Akra Schmid. What?
They better stop teams from shooting. I mean, Markstrom's not the worst goalie in the world, but he's tremendous.
No, he's terrible.
So those days of Bob bailing them out are over. And yeah, I mean, they're going to be a very different team. We'll see. I really don't know. I mean, I people are like, this is a super team, and I'm like, no, it's not.
And the other thing that is gonna happen with the Panthers, you don't think player safety is going to be watching them now like a hawk? You don't think the Players Association is gonna be watching player safety and being like, hey, Florida's killing players over here. What are you doing, player safety?
Yeah.
They just put a target. They just put a spotlight on themselves. Oh, let me do it this way. They just put a spotlight on themselves and said, hey, we're going to go kill people. Watch us do it. Like, that's the problem. That's the move that they made. They made hey, we're going to go kill people. Watch us do it.
Don't you know the history of them getting away with everything and why
that's where
possibly?
I think you're going to start to see the Players Association and the NHL and Gary Bettman in general start to step in. Because the Players Association is only going to go for so much on this.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And we'll see right away because we got a couple of preseason games. They did announce some preseason stuff. And by the way, regular season, I think we're probably going to see in about a week.
Yeah, we're very, very close.
In July, we'll get that schedule here next. All right, well, let's do rapid fire because there's just was so many moves in free agency. So I'm just going to give you the team and the player. This one happened today, and kudos for this guy for sticking with the team that, I mean, he didn't play his whole career there, but
damn it, I wanted this one. I know what you're going to talk about. I wanted him.
Maybe a lot of people are going like this. Claude Giroux signs a 1-year deal today, $5 million with his team to stay with the Ottawa Senators. What do you give me a grade for these?
So his base salary is $2 million, performance bonus $3 million, which it's like play like 20 games and get $2 million or something. Good for him. End of his career, coming down to the wire here. He's gonna help the team for a couple years, or the year.
He's 38.
Yeah. I'm happy for him. Good for him. That's kind of one of those ones. It's just, meh.
Maybe kind of an insignificant move, but
yeah, that one's not as.
Senators
You can go to Messenger, and I have my list in Messenger for you if you want to just pull from that. While he's pulling it up, I'll just do the next one that I got on the list. Vincent Trocheck went from the New York Rangers, and he is now on Utah. Traded for Sean Durzi, Cole Bedoin, and a 2027 third-round pick. I love Vincent Trocheck. I think he's a very undervalued player. I also think Sean Durzi is a very good player that's going to help both sides. Win-win on both sides. Vincent Trocheck still makes his Vincent Trocheck money. Great for him. Super happy for him. $5.625 million by 3 years. 2 thumbs up for me. Super happy for Utah.
Yeah, I like that move. Did you text me or Teams?
Messenger, Facebook Messenger.
Why is my message
Literally right above the link. Make sure your messages are synced. Alex Tuck. I will say the contract. I will say the year and the team, and I want to talk about that team here in a second too. Alex Tuck signs with the Washington Capitals for an 8-year deal by $10.5 million. I don't know if anybody watched. Washington's going to be good, guys. Washington's going to be really good. They made a lot of great signings this year, and I'm super excited. Oh gosh, man, I can just sit here all day.
I agree. I liked the moves that they made. Kyrou coming in. All good moves. All right.
It's just all the way around. Did you get your list?
Who else we got? Radko Gudas to stick with the Florida Panthers.
We kind of went over the goon line already. It's just another goon player that I don't understand it, but good for them.
All right, so Kyrou, you like that one in Washington, and then it took him a while, but Ovi was an unrestricted free agent.
It's the definition of what Levante David was doing with the Bucks for all of my football people, watching to see where the team was going to be. If it was time for him to retire, or if it was time for him to resign, it was one of the two.
All right, the other Washington Capital, Boone Jenner, 4 years, 5.75.
Great deal. Thought he was going to be a Lightning player for a little bit. Had my fingers crossed. Another player, actually, a lot of people talked about him. I'm going to kind of go Lightning for a second. Keep your eyes on Patrick Laine. That is a name that's going to start to come up here since he has still not signed yet. Definitely on a low of his career right now, but I think comes into our system and could play with guys like Anthony Cirelli and Brandon Hagel and make a significant difference. And that's where Boone Jenner I thought was going to be. Power play merchant, definitely a top 6 guy, and could have been very, very good.
Yeah, I was keeping an eye on him going into July 1st because I thought the Lightning, just based on him being one of the only unrestricted free agents under 30, and right-handed shot. I don't think teams are going to overpay for him because he's just had such a crazy career, especially recently. So that would be an interesting move to bring him in. I do like that one. What about Bowen Byram getting the Blackhawks and signing a 6-year extension? And didn't they give up a lot for him too?
I'm not going to say the rest of that. They traded a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a prospect for Bowen Byram and Jordan Greenway, which Jordan Greenway cap dump for them. Great job. And Bowen Byram, what is Chicago? What? $12.5 million? Guys, I don't want to pay a lot of these players that are like
it's crazy.
Average $12 million. Stop changing the league. Like, no. Knock it off. That's exactly what that is. That's somebody needs to go take that guy's keys away from him and give him a binky and tell him to go to bed. Like, no, that's not how hockey works. But Bowen Byram, that would to try to put this into perspective, that would be me giving Eric Chernak $12.5 million a year.
I was thinking Chernak.
Is anybody here giving raise of hands? Eric Chernak, $12.5 million. Raise of hands, anybody? Raise of hands?
I don't know. I'm okay off on that though, because he's way younger, right? So he's got most of his career still ahead of him. 25 or 26. Also, he's got experience. He's got playoff experience. He's won a cup, right? Won a cup with Colorado.
Yeah.
So I think they see some value in having a young leader like that. But I don't know. Today, it just seems like you got to overpay. to get the guys you need. But yeah, that just was a head scratching move by the Blackhawks. All right, I think we did everyone on your list, but I'm going to give you a couple.
We got one more on the list. We
Who
did
else?
not. We
Who did I
talked.
miss?
We talked about Toronto, and we didn't talk about the goalie situation.
Oh,
Booby
Bobrovsky still in the division.
Bobrovsky still got to play against that guy a lot. I mean, look. You guys have to live under a rock to not see that one coming. Let's be real, guys. They needed a good goalie. They got a good goalie. I'm sorry, people can think what they want. Bobby's good. Bobby should be in the top 3. He should be a Vezina finalist every year on a good team. Bobby's good.
I hate that move. You know why?
Because I have to still play him.
Well, that too. But I mean, it just seemed like that could have been such a perfect fit for the Edmonton Oilers, who desperately could use a guy that can win some key games.
I just didn't want to play him. He could have went to the Edmonton Oilers too, and I would have loved it. But he said he wanted to stay in the East. I knew he was going to stay in the East. I knew it was going to be Toronto before the deadline, before July 1st. It was always going to be Toronto. It was always Toronto.
Well, what'd you think about the Oilers going after, and they got him, Frederik Andersen, the Stanley Cup winner?
Stanley Cup winner. I don't.
Is that the answer?
Is
that going to put them over the top?
No, they're they hit their peak already. They're on the backside of their play here. They did, however, trade for Devin Levi, who is one that I am very excited about for Edmonton. He could be better than Freddie, in my opinion. It's going to be a 1A, 1B between Freddie and Devin Levi. So that's going to be a fun one to watch. Also, keep your eye in Edmonton on, I'm going to try his name. I'm probably going to mess it up. I'm going to have to try maybe multiple times because I know how to say it actually. Shakir Mukhamadullin. He is a 24-year-old left shot defenseman. Could be not great, but definitely on a bottom half team, a top line defenseman. He's someone that could be very fun to watch. Will not be on Edmonton because they have Evan Bouchard and Jake Wallman, but I'm very excited to watch this kid play hockey.
Trying to see what else we missed.
There's other than that list.
Anderson, Vegas. At 8.5.
The guy that was linked to Tampa before he was traded to Vegas. Honestly, I'm kind of glad we didn't sign him because he hasn't looked like the Rasmus Anderson that was in Calgary. I'm kind of indifferent about him now. Good for him, gets his bag, but to me, because he was linked again to Tampa, he was linked in a trade, and they ended up going against it and signed him by an 8 by 8.5, I think, or a 7 by 8.5. Again, I'm good. I'm not. That's a lot of money for a guy that's, to me, been playing just meh hockey.
All right, well, let's get out of here. One more question, though. Everything's going to quiet down now. And we'll be back, by the way, but I think this is going to be truly we're July 7th right now. I don't think
we're
you guys
going on vacation.
See me until September, to be honest with you. I think we're taking the true off-season break here. So it's going to be a little while. Make sure you follow We the Thunder Pod. Use our SeatGeek code. We got a new sponsor as well, so I'll post that out. It is Som Sleep. You're not old like me, Tate, but like I'm just a horrible sleeper. So these guys reached out about becoming an affiliate, and I'm like, yeah, mostly because I wanted to try their stuff, and I did last night, and I slept like a baby. It's just a little powder. You put it in some water before bed. And it makes you go nighty night. I'm up late thinking about hockey all night, and I can't sleep. So, well, I
always have a notebook next to me. I'm always writing things hockey down.
I'll start posting about Psalm Sleep because you guys can start buying it and it will help us out. Just like that SeatGeek code Strike 20 doesn't have to be Lightning games. Any events coming up this summer, concerts, whatever you want. And thank you. People still use that during the off season. I love it. So thank you guys for doing that. All right. So the final question here is that it? Is JBB? I'm going on vacation. Is JBB going on vacation?
We'll be doing an emergency podcast in the next month.
Let's
not only I'm gonna go out on a limb. Not only are the Lightning not done in free agency, we're not done on the trade block.
Ooh, okay. What are we bringing in offense?
I'm gonna let everybody think about that. Drop your comments if you think we're gonna trade or we're done. I don't think we're done. I think you see some players, multiple players on the move.
Wow. I don't think so. I think we're pretty much done. I don't see the guys. Maybe the guy we talked about earlier, Patrick Laine, as that right-handed shot. Since he's out there, probably affordable. We only have a few million to work with. But again, JoJo is also on the block. So we've got a couple. I think he's a little over 1 or a little under 2 million.
1.2.
Gives them a little bit extra spending cash, but maybe they want some flexibility too, because the Jackets have a bad season, and all of a sudden Werenski is back on the block, and if the Lightning are in pole position to make a playoff run, I could see them pulling the trigger and doing whatever it takes to get him in. Because listen, the team's old now. We've got one of the oldest rosters for sure. And now's the time to win. Now's the time to make those moves and do something.
Yesterday,
I was a little upset about the trade deadline this past season and not much going on with us. All right, you got anything else for the people before we get out of here?
Stop rage baiting me.
Never.
No, if you're a Lightning fan right now, you should be very happy with all of the moves that we made. I know some people question the Jeffrey Veal move, but you should be very happy. You watched our team last year. You watched how close it was all year. I think we stay healthy. I think we bring in everybody into the playoffs that we're never able to do. And I think we have a very successful year again next year. I don't think last year was a bust at all. I think we just got NHL'd, as I call it. We ran into the Montreal Canadiens, who's, mind you, a great team. I'm not saying they're not a good team, but we ran into the Montreal Canadiens, went 7 games, and lost in a unreal Game 7. For regardless of everything, it was a great game. Montreal played the best defensive game of their season, and we lost. And I'm okay with it. I was hurt in the moment. I've watched that game 20 times now. Montreal beat us, and I love it. Let's go back next year. Run it back.
Gotta figure out this playoff thing. That's what sucks. We got to get through not even 82 games now. It's 84 games before we get back to that playoff, and hopefully they figure something out. But remember last season, the amazing run that they had in January, some of February. They can figure out how to play that kind of hockey. I mean, and play it in the playoffs. Nobody beats this team.
100%.
Nobody. All right. Well, thanks for joining, man. I'm sure we'll see you this season at games on this show. So thanks for filling in for Schoolie. And
thanks for having me. I'm sure I'll be back.
Absolutely. And until next time, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.
That's it?